Our initial tests exposing Talon 4's indigenous parasites to Phazon appears to be successful. Increases in size, strength, and aggressiveness are common in all test subjects, as well as unforeseen evolutions like additional poison sacs with the abdomen and the appearance of a second ring of mandibles in several subjects. These creatures were chosen because of their resilience, and it appears possible that given enough exposure to Phazon, they may one day be able to survive on any planet we transport them to. Our methods will have to be refined. We currently have a 100% extinction rate after the fourth infusion period, and most survivors of the third infusion stage are so violent and uncontrollable that they have to be euthanized. Even still, we remain hopeful that future experimentation will result in success.
Welcome back, everybody, to my Metroid Prime Let's Play. Today we are pursuing another suit upgrade that is accessible only through the Phendrana Drifts region, and more specifically through the Space Pirate Labs. Yeah, you thought we only had to do that once, going through the darkness. Nope, we're gonna have to do it again. If you do recall, there was a glitching Sheegoth there. Now look, they replaced that mini Sheegoth bunch with a giant one. The Mama Sheegoth. Great. Too bad it's too slow to catch us, and it's not required to open the doors, so screw it. Why even waste our time with it? So yeah, you know, you thought, let's do that again. You thought that we would be fine. You thought that we would be all good going through there once, but do recall there was a white door that we couldn't access at the base, at the very bottom where we found our thermal sensor. Our thermal visor sensor thingy-majiggy. Not like we got a new visor, it's more just an upgrade to the visor system we've already got on. It'd be pretty cool though if Samus went around and got new helmets, new gear for every new item she gained. Well, at least you could see by the different beam cannons we have to launch, like the Ice Beam, it changes colors of her cannon. Which I must say, the Ice Beam is probably one of my more favored upgrades that you can get. The Charged Beam, the Space Jump Boots, and this weapon are such a potent combination. Obviously, Space Jump Boots give you access to an area far greater than you could go before, plus it adds to your evasive tactics. No more do you need to have a large circular battlefield to use your bee strafing around maneuver. You could just simply jump a bunch and dodge space pirate fire just like we did there. And remember, we came to this place before. Never was there flying enemies of that type. So I'm not lying, people. Things are ramping up in difficulty. So difficult that I could not even decipher that. Look, haha, I didn't need to jump another platform. We were actually on the right platform. It was just too stupid. And okay, good. No sneak attacks from space pirates on the roof. Oh, what? You think you're gonna get me because you've got some Invisa technology that is really kind of shoddy? I can see you right there glitching at me. It's pretty apparent that, you know, the air doesn't just randomly shock itself. There's got to be something going on. And I love the power of this thing. It's not only able to freeze opponents, but after you freeze them, it only takes 1 or 2 shots to knock them out. So I don't even have to waste a missile on these fools. You're not even worth the blast in my cannon. You're worth an ice blast, but not a missile blast. And that's the beauty of these different weapons. Now, I'm not going to talk too much about it because we will end up playing Metroid Prime 2. But in that game, they do have different variations on your beam cannon that you can use. And wow, the turret is way tougher than the space pirates are. Heh, go figure. Oh, the darkness. Might as well get competent at using this thermal visor now, before we get to the final boss than trying to learn as we go along. So this will be a good test for our navigational skills in the dark. But in Metroid Prime 2, you do have variations on your beam cannon. The problem is, it's ammo-based. Yeah, see, it's pitch black. Absolutely no way we're getting through here without the thermal visor. So I love all the different weaponry you could use in Metroid Prime 1 way more than I do in Metroid Prime 2. Although, you'll see all those weapons too. They're not bad weapons, it's just if I had a choice of whether to use ammo or not, I'm always going to not, because why waste time trying to collect ammo tanks and trying to destroy destructible objects that might possess something inside? It's just a pain in my ball sack that doesn't need to be bothered with. And man, I must say, this is the first time I'm seeing a charged up ice beam in the thermal visor sense, and it looks awesome. Look at that. A mutating, morphing ball of ice that's going crazy with charge power. It's too bad that it doesn't recognize overtime charging. I mean, it does to a certain extent, but it's not going to be rewarding you for holding a charge shot for like a minute. Oh, and this is not good. My visor's going screwy. That means there's sentry bots about. These things are so obnoxious. Yeah, that's right. Blow the fuck up. Blow the fuck up. You too. What are you doing? Don't be firing your machine guns at me. What do you think you are? Noiser? That'll only make sense if you actually know that musician, but look it up. Noiser Machine Gun. Freaking great song. Oh, yep, right. Purple weapons. Purple's the power that we need to proceed. And we're back to the planetary room, of which you can scan all those planets, so if you want 100%, make sure you scan every orb here. Isn't that the funny thing? That's why I don't bother with 100% on really any game. I don't. Wow, it's so dark in here. Even with the planets there, even with the hologram projections, you can't even see anything on the floor. That's a big improvement. You know, I don't like the dark. I will not lie to you there. But I can tell you from Metroid Prime 1 on the GameCube to Metroid Prime 1 Wii version, it's a big difference in visuals as far as the dark goes. You know, like I said, you're not getting HD textures or anything like that, but you are getting a bit more bloom effects and, you know, some coloring over on the water effects too. I read that they updated those as well. But they also did a tremendously great job at fixing up the dark area here. Because I remember back playing this on the GameCube that I hated this section as much as I do now, and I do not like traveling in the dark with space pirates and Metroid tanks floating all about. It makes me so nervous when I see Metroids because I don't know if they're going to stay in their frickin' stasis tank or if they're, you know, just going to burst the fuck out because they're hungry and the space pirates haven't been feeding them because I've been annihilating them all with my beam cannon. Happens, you know. I end up crippling myself because nobody's controlling the Metroid tanks and they're going to break out of stasis pretty soon to get their own feast. That's not too good for me. But I remember back in the day, you were able to do it. It was difficult, sure, but it was no more difficult than, well, I would say that traversing a dark tunnel in Pokemon without Flash is probably a lot more tricky than doing Metroid Prime 1 on the GameCube with it, because at least in, you know, Metroid Prime 1, you had like glowing floor tiles, and that's what I think made the difference. In this version of Metroid Prime 1, even if there's something glowing like a stasis tank, or maybe see some space pirate fire off in the distance and you can locate and navigate around that, they did such a damn good job at making the surrounding area so dark that it's near impossible to navigate by those floor panels anymore. And I can tell you, I used to do it. I really didn't like using the thermal visor. But good on you, Nintendo, for fixing it, because the thermal visor is pretty badass. And you only have certain points in the game of which it's really necessary to use it. That Thardust fight is obviously one of them. This area now is absolutely required, but before you could kind of cut through that if you were good at looking at the glowing areas. I mean, I remember back in the day, you could even see where the logbooks were. The computers gave off a dim sort of glow that allowed you to locate where they were, even in the dark. But that's why I made such a heavy recommendation early on: scan everything before you come to the thermal visor. Everything in the room, everything. Even if you're not planning to go for 100%, but you think, maybe one day I'll do it in the future if I decide, not this fuzz again. It's always a indicator that these asshole sentry bots are right around the corner. They glitch out your visor, they shoot at you rapid fire, and their fire hits you back like a bunch. I've never even seen a machine gun so strong. Damn robots. But the quickest way to deal with them is just missile, 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 missile. Don't even waste super missiles on them, really. Because I feel as though you can hit them with maybe 3 missiles, and I think it takes 5 missiles for a super missile. So don't waste it. You know, if you just keep on pounding with whatever single missile shots you can, eventually they'll break down. But that is about all the time we have for today, keeping in with viewer retention rates. So let me know, what is your most feared area of Metroid Prime that you hate to traverse? Whether it's the enemies, the dark area, let me know below.
Mining operations have begun near the crater where Phazon appears to be most concentrated. Daily Phazon yields have increased 44%, and our mining system becomes more streamlined as personnel and equipment flow increase. Several incidents of Phazon-induced madness have been reported, prompting augmented life support regulations in the deeper chambers. Symptoms include loss of equilibrium, erratic respiration, muscle spasms, and in the most extreme cases, hallucination. A timeline reassessment for the refinery operation is recommended, as the material proves more unstable than initial analysis indicated.